Hey friend, this is Rick Renner, and today I'm sitting by the elevator in one of my favorite little cafes having my cup of coffee and reading my Bible. And as I'm reading my Bible, you know what I'm thinking about? Relatives. Are your relatives a blessing to you? Your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins, close relatives, distant relatives? What kind of relationship do you have with your relatives? Well, when you read Romans chapter 16 and verse 7, you find the Apostle Paul had relatives that were in the ministry. In fact, Paul was not the only apostle in his family. He was not the only apostle in his family. Listen to what it says in Romans chapter 16, verse 7. Salute Andronicus and Junia. How would you like to be named Andronicus? Andronicus and Junia, this was a married couple, my kinsmen, that means my relatives, and my fellow prisoners who are of note among the apostles. He had two relatives, Andronicus and Junia, who had an apostolic call on his life just like he did. And then he says, and they were in Christ before me. It makes me wonder if this married couple, Paul's relatives, had prayed for his salvation. They were certainly in Christ before he was. He says so. And he says they were even of note among the apostles. So now we find in one family is not just the Apostle Paul serving Christ. He's got family serving the Lord with him. And I'm certain, because they were in Christ first, they must have prayed for his salvation. How about you and your relatives? If you have an unsaved family, do you pray for them? You have no idea how powerful your prayers are. Maybe it's a distant relative, a brother or a sister, mother, father. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a child, a cousin. You can pray for them. And you can all end up serving the Lord together. You say, oh, I just don't know how it could happen. Well, I'm sure that when Andronicus and Junia were praying for Paul in those early days and he was out killing Christians, seemed impossible to them too. But God honors faith. And Paul ended up serving the same God with them together. I want you to think about today your need to pray for those people in your family that haven't come to Christ yet. And think about the great joy you're going to experience when they finally say yes to Jesus.